Chapter 15, Uncle Moose. "Hey, Jeep, you coming?" two of his church friends asked. They looked at Dana curiously as people hurried by from store to store in the mall. "In a minute, go on." "Yeah, we'll meet you over in the arcade." It was the first Monday of summer vacation, and the kids had about 30 things planned for the day. They seemed annoyed that Jeep was sitting on this bench with some red-headed girl reading a stupid black book. Dana read over his shoulder, although she hated when people did that to her. July 5th, 1856. We heard Caleb's wagon and hastened Lisbeth up the stairs. I gave her a basket of food. Her primer and copybook and a chamber pot. She avidly promised she'd stay hidden while Mr. Weaver was in the house. Rebecca, bless her sweet young heart, thinks it's a jolly adventure, but James does not approve. Jeep asked, "Who's James?" "Her son, about our age." "But James does not approve. He's grown sullen. I miss the boy he was only a season ago." Lisbeth enchants us with such wondrous tales. One slave, Bog by name, feigned a seizure on the auction block. He fooled the doctor who examined him and was taken to a jail cell while the slave sellers considered what to do about him. Lord, thou opened a door for the man. Bog escaped and is now living free in Canada. All right, one brother made it. Read the next one, Jeep. In Iowa Point, Kansas, a man called Uncle Mose stood before a greedy mob on the auction block. Men came up to feel his muscles, checked his teeth, look him up and down as if he were a common beast of burden. This man was sold for a meager $200, such a paltry sum as the measure of a man. "Jesus," Jeep said. "I'm sorry, do you want to stop reading?" But Jeep had turned the page. Whilst on the auction block, Uncle Mose saw a pack of some 25 men riding horses down the ravine. He feared they meant to swarm him and kill him, but it proved that these men were free soilers bent on breaking up the auction. They fell into a violent brawl with the slave buyers, and in the confusion of flying punches, one of the free soilers shouted to Uncle Mose, "The moment your feet touched Kansas soil, you were a free man." Then he directed Uncle Mose to climb on the back of a riderless horse, and Uncle Mose rode off to freedom. Jeep's eyes were somewhere else now, maybe seeing Uncle Mose ride through the ravine north and west by way of Okaloosa, where he'd be easily passed north to Nebraska. Maybe he saw Uncle Mose with a wife and family living in a log cabin in Canada and working as a blacksmith or a lumberjack for real wages. Maybe he saw Uncle Mose as his own great-great-grandfather. Dana left Jeep to his dreaming and read the next passage. July 9th, 1856. I'm collecting these stories here in my journal. One day soon I'll share them with Caleb, and he'll accept why I harbor and feed these people, why I disguise them in Quaker dresses and bonnets and veils and send them on their way, why I hide Lisbeth from Caleb, why James is so sullen and quick to anger. Please, Lord, assure me that one day Caleb will understand why I'm sacrificing my own dear family as if they themselves were on the auction block. Jeep was on his feet, his hands jammed into his jeans pockets. "What happened to Elvira?" he said sharply. "I guess her name's really Lisbeth. You think she was murdered by this Caleb guy?" Dana shook her head. "Other places in the journal, it shows that Caleb makes a big case of being nonviolent. It would be like Martin Luther King aiming a gun at a guy. Listen, I'm going over to find my friends." "Okay, call me when you want to read some more." But he made no move to go, so she asked, "Jeep, what would you have done if you'd been alive then?" "How do I know? What a dumb question." He jogged in place in the balls of his feet. Dana waited. "I don't think I'd have been any Martin Luther King, though, if you get my